When Chainsaw Man premiered, it felt like a line had been drawn in the sand for what modern anime could achieve in the horror genre. Before the movie continuation captured headlines, the first season set a precedent that few series before it could match. It was violent, it was grotesque, and at the same time it was funny, heartbreaking, and strangely intimate. Viewers expecting a standard shonen action show quickly realized they were watching something different, something that would not only shock, but also leave them thinking about the cost of survival in a world defined by monsters. Welcome to Screen Rated. Today we'll analyze how Season 1 of Chainsaw Man redefined modern anime horror. At the center of it all is Denji, an orphan who is far from the clean-cut heroes that we usually see in shonen anime. He is not noble, not motivated by any kind of codes, and not the kind of character one would expect to carry a story of this scale. Denji is dirt poor, abused by debt collectors, and willing to do anything to scrape together a meager existence. His dreams are as simple as wanting food on the table and maybe the comfort of companionship. These base desires make him relatable in a twisted way. Instead of chasing glory, Denji's just trying to survive, and when survival becomes fused with chainsaw-wielding chaos, the result is a character who defines modern anti-heroism in anime. The horror element of Season 1 is not only in the grotesque monsters. It's in the way human desperation becomes intertwined with devils born from the fears that plague humanity. Every devil in the series is a reflection of something humanity fears taken to monstrous extremes. The fact that these devils are powered by human fear makes them more terrifying than generic supernatural creatures. They are manifestations of the anxieties and phobias that live within people, given form and teeth. By putting this concept at the heart of its world, the show redefined horror in anime by making it psychological as well as physical. The animation itself takes the horror even further. MAPPA did not shy away from the gore, presenting blood, guts, and chainsaw violence with uncompromising detail. But what made the visuals work was the contrast. Mundane scenes like Denji eating bread, Power throwing a tantrum, Anaki making coffee were treated with as much importance as the battles. This careful pacing, when the carnage did erupt, made it all the more shocking. Viewers were pulled into a rhythm of calm followed by chaos, a rhythm that defined the unnerving tone of the series. The relationships also played into the horror in unexpected ways. Denji's bond with Power, the chaotic blood fiend, gave audiences moments of comedy and absurd sibling-like antics. Yet that same bond was contrasted with Makima, who manipulated Denji with cold precision. The horror in Makima's character was not her abilities alone, but the way she represented control, coercion, and the exploitation of someone desperate for affection. Denji's longing for recognition and warmth left him vulnerable, and Makima embodied the terrifying reality of someone who will use those vulnerabilities for their own ends. It was gory horror on the outside, but also firmly rooted in psychology and power imbalance. One of the most striking arcs in Season 1 was the battle with the Eternity Devil. Here, horror came from claustrophobia and hopelessness, as the group found themselves trapped in an endless loop of the same floor in a hotel. Time stretched on, sanity came undone, and the pressure built as each character revealed how fear affected them differently. This arc showed that Chainsaw Man was not only about violent spectacle. It could be suspenseful and deeply unsettling. Chainsaw Man also pushed anime horror forward by blending absurd comedy with tragedy. Denji's goals often seemed laughably small compared to the cosmic scale of the dangers around him. He risked his life for simple pleasures, and those comedic moments highlighted just how deprived he had been his whole life. The laughter was never only laughter. It was a cover for the tragedy of a boy who never had the chance to dream bigger. The tonal shifts from humor to heartbreak, and then to grotesque violence created a disorienting viewing experience that felt truer to life's chaos than most straightforward storylines. This tonal unpredictability has since become one of the series' hallmarks. The supporting cast contributed layers to the horror as well. Aki, with his tragic backstory, provided a human counterpoint to Denji's recklessness. Power brought chaos, yet her backstory revealed the pain of being a fiend trying to hold on to scraps of humanity. Every character seemed to carry scars that made them vulnerable in ways that devils could exploit. These flaws are an obvious backstory for sympathy. Yet, equally, they were integral to how the story's horror unfolded. These flaws are doorways devils exploited, using them to prey on people. Season 1 also redefined anime horror through its sound design and music. Kensuke Ushio's score blended eerie piano melodies with electronic distortion, crafting a soundscape that was as unsettling as the imagery on screen. The opening theme by Kenshiro Yonezu and the rotating ending themes after each episode reinforced the sense that Chainsaw Man was unlike any other anime airing at the time. The endings in particular created a ritual of surprise, each offering a new artistic interpretation that left viewers unsettled or reflective. When Chainsaw Man premiered, it immediately became a sensation, dominating social media and sparking conversation worldwide. Memes about Power's antics circulated alongside thoughtful essays about trauma and exploitation. This duality mirrored the show itself, a piece of media that could be both outrageous and profound. For many viewers who had grown accustomed to more predictable anime narratives, Chainsaw Man felt like a jolt of electricity. It expanded the boundaries of what mainstream anime could tackle in terms of tone, theme, and imagery. Perhaps its greatest contribution to modern anime horror is the way it reframed expectations. Viewers now understand that anime horror can be complicated. It can be psychological, it can be absurd, it can be grotesque, and it can be deeply emotional. Horror does not have to be confined to haunted houses or supernatural curses. It can come from poverty, manipulation, loneliness, or the fear of losing control. All of this came together in a package that was accessible to global audiences while still carrying the rawness of Fujimoto's original vision. As anime continues to grow in global recognition, Chainsaw Man's first season is a turning point. Just as Akira shocked audiences in the late 80s and Spirited Away proved anime could win Oscars, Chainsaw Man showed that horror anime could claim a place in mainstream conversation without compromise. Its mix of gore, tragedy, and humor created a blueprint that future series will likely follow. For fans, it was an unforgettable experience. For the genre, it was a redefinition of what horror can mean in the world of anime.